I love watching her highlights of missing shots. She's got to be the worst shooter you've met in your life. But go, Rob, just go, give this feedback. Give this feedback here. Go for it.
David doesn't sugarcoat anything Patrick wagers. Additionally, he completely destroyed Angel Reese's will sit out ultimatum when he obtained it. This is what makes his breakdown so fulfilling. Though, he didn't simply dunk on the danger. He pursued the cash. The WNBA was dependent on NBA subsidies and was losing about $40 million annually. Who specifically had the power to make demands then? Not the athlete who attended Atlanta. Dream's preseason appearance was precisely the same as when she departed Chicago. Reese's new salary under the new WNBA collective bargaining agreement further demonstrates how the market views Ree in comparison to other young stars like Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, or Aaliyah Boston. He is still getting bodied, bricking layups, and collecting invites to fashion shows rather than actual reps. What is your prediction for Ree's WNBA tenure? Tell me in the comments section below. Do you know what I enjoy watching? I adore seeing her highlights of missing shots. She must be the worst shooter you've ever encountered. However, please just provide us with feedback. Please provide feedback here. Go for it. The second season. I am eager to continue working with you. The most important piece of advice I can give you is to improve your layup technique. Forget about it. LAYUPS? What are you referring to? She is our twin. Training Angel Reto make a layup is like training an old dog a new trick. IT won't work.
Burn.
Double queen.
Bye.
What they say, if it's broken, don't fix it. Greetings and welcome to McDonald's. What can I offer you? Burn Angel REMC. Imagine this. Patrick Bet David displays Angel Reese's live stream video. This is the moment when he starts doing arithmetic aloud after she suggests that WNBA players should sit out due to salary issues. There are no diplomatic ploys or sugarcoating, just numbers. And before she could finish her case, the numbers completely disproved it. Yes, if you don't give us what we want, as we stated, they won't give it. That is a serious possibility. Place a wager. One figure was the beginning of David's entire argument. The WNBA was losing almost $40 million annually, maintained by NBA owners signing checks to make up for the money the league was unable to generate on its own. Sit out from what exactly? Was Bet David's response when Ree went live and hinted that players would boycott for more compensation. A league that is unable to cover its own expenses without a men's side subsidy isn't a company that worries about a work stoppage. Only when the business you are threatening to shut down is profitable enough to cause fear, when the doors close, will a strike be effective. And borrowed funds were already used to keep the WNBA stores open. Bet David pointed out that Reese was making a threat from a league that couldn't even pay its own operational expenses, despite Reese's initial impression that she was LeBron threatening to leave Cleveland. That is not a posture of negotiation. There are no cards behind that bluff. And he said it in simple terms that anyone who has ever managed a company or looked at a balance sheet would understand. Reese has been outspoken about her poor WNBA income, noting on Instagram that her $74,000 annual salary does not cover rent. I just wanted to let you know that the WNBA does not cover any of my expenses. They don't even seem to cover any of my expenses. Reese's financial difficulties are a result of her WNBA salary falling short of her previous earnings because her nil valuation at LSU was $1.8 million, supported by agreements with Coach, McDonald's, PlayStation, and Reebok. On the other hand, a 4-year rookie contract was $324,000 with $74,000 due the following season. I just want everyone to know that the WNBA does not cover any of my expenses. That doesn't even seem to cover one of my expenses. I'll do the math quickly. They may take care of that. Yes, that is covered. That is undoubtedly covered. Where is my pay? I have no idea. It wasn't because he targeted Ree directly that his breakdown resonated so strongly with viewers. It was that he used her threat to highlight the structural issue. He explained why labor withholding is only effective when your labor is the source of the income that all others rely on. Next, he inquired as to who was really making that money. Put a wager. David gestured directly at Caitlin Clark. Her contract with Gatorade, her Nike deal, her Forbes ranking as the most influential female athlete, and, finally, the attendance figures. a 48% increase throughout the league. 2. 3 million viewers overall thanks to the turnstiles, while ESPN's TV ratings increased by 170%. Not only did Clark's debut season shift the needle, but it also restored its relevance after years of individuals hardly realizing it was there. WNBA players may go on strike over pay and perks, according to Angel Reese. If you decide on a career, you should usually consider the potential wages. I'll add this as well. Caitlin Clark is keeping your league afloat. Therefore, all of you WNBA players had better hope she doesn't get hurt. Thus, Bet David posed the obvious query that had been discussed for months. If a single player is in charge of the increases in TV ratings, attendance, and why is the player who schedules fashion showcases rather than workouts the one issuing ultimatums during discussions over $1 billion media deal? Ree had enough social media followers to fill a small city, the magazine covers, the Reebok shoes, and the Bayou Barbie reputation. However, none of it increased the number of tickets sold in Atlanta or raised the ratings figure that ESPN executives use to determine the value of a broadcast rights agreement. Runway appearances are unimportant to league executives and sponsors. Both the number of seats and the number of viewers are important to them. Fill up. Additionally, neither of those indicators was impacted by Reese's brand activity, according to the research, because Bet David provided the economic framework to express what many of them already felt. The fan response to his breakdown was swift. They had witnessed Clark bring the league into discussions it hadn't participated in for decades, and then they had seen other players gripe about the attention rather than gaining more of it. Bet David simply turned up the volume to full and placed dollar signs next to the argument. You will never witness a better layup than this one from Angel Reese. Let's start with the dump. Burn. I'm in love with it. Oh, she's getting jiggly with it. Take a look at the legs zigzag pattern. Yeehaw burn. Giddy up. I recently learned that she is ambidextrous. She's equally doggy-do with the right and left-handed layup, so that makes sense. A professional basketball player who has to improve her layups is similar to a fish that needs to learn how to breathe underwater. Reese's puffs. IT. Does not make sense. His main argument was not that Reese shouldn't be paid more. It is only when you are the one whose absence will genuinely cost the league something that threatening to sit out works. There was only one name on the receipts, and that wasn't Angel Ree. Clark was doing something that doesn't receive nearly enough attention, while Ree went live to gripe about his salary. In fact, she was making the league worthwhile. Not by speeches, tweets, or live stream demands, but by playing basketball so brilliantly, network executives began viewing WNBA games as a commodity that they had to possess. WNBA, and what's her name, I wonder? Reese? Angel. Take action. I wholeheartedly endorse your freedom to strike. Thus, it has been done in other sports. Thus, it has been done in other major sports. For your PBD, here is a brief list. I assembled this. Largest strikes in sports history. The MLB strike in 1994, The World Series was canceled for the first time. I recall. Well, do you recall that? The NBA went on strike in 1998. For the first time, the All-Star Game was canceled. The NFL has gone on strike several times. 1982, 1987, and 2011. The catch is this. What would happen if the MLB, NBA, or NFL went on strike in 1994? America's most lucrative sport? What do you suppose it is? How much do you believe the NFL makes? $17 billion. The NBA, just over $11 billion. MLB, $11 billion, too. $7 billion for the NHL. The players' threats to walk prevented the new collective bargaining agreement from being reached. It occurred as a result of ESPN and other networks witnessing Clark during her rookie season turn WNBA games into appointment television. And all of a sudden owners genuinely wanted to safeguard the real money on the table. We are discussing a $2.11-year media rights agreement. $2 billion, or $200 million annually on average, is a sum that would have seemed absurd if you had stated it aloud prior to the start of Clark's first season. When network officials explained why they issued such large sums, they immediately attributed the increase in viewing to Clark. because she converted casual fans into those who actively plan their evenings to coincide with WNBA tip-off times. Neither a speech nor a bargaining strategy constituted Clark's contribution to the CBA. It was information. The average for Fever games was 1. Road games were sold out nationwide because Clark was the visiting player, and ESPN had 2 million viewers, a 170% increase. For 2 seasons in a row, Indianapolis led the league in attendance. All of that went straight into the negotiation room because owners who had been funding a losing league for years now had a television product that networks were actively bidding on, which altered their willingness to put player salaries on paper. I mean, I don't really like drawing comparisons between the NBA and the WNBA. That's not very fair, in my opinion. Obviously, I think the WNBA is in an amazing place right now. The majority of people, in my opinion, would be shocked to learn that it is currently in that location. People frequently ask me where I believe it will be in 5 years, and I find it difficult to respond because they didn't even anticipate that we would be here at this moment. And in my opinion, the possibilities are truly endless. The All-Star Game, I believe, attracted over 4 million viewers, according to our TV ratings when we're on national television. On average, we have over 1 million viewers. Like, the numbers are simply amazing. Therefore, I believe that it will shine and get more and better the more possibilities we are given. Additionally, I believe that college talent is continuing to improve significantly. We're adding 2 new teams next year, and then possibly another team every year after that as those guys join the league, and it continues to get better. More games, then. Yes, I believe that more games will be beneficial. The season will be slightly longer as a result. Under the previous contract, Clark's annual salary was $75,000. This season, it was over $500,000. Additionally, she is already qualified to be considered for Supermax next year, which could raise her yearly pay above $3 million. The league office did not give that as a gift. With receipts attached, the market is expressing exactly how much it believes her presence is worth in monetary terms. Under this CBA, every WNBA player received a raise. And it includes the athletes who publicly disliked Clark's attention during 2024, bemoaned the lack of media attention, and threatened work stoppages on live streams. Aaliyah Boston's contract demonstrates her dependability and reciprocal worth.
Kelsey
Mitchell's scoring is reflected in her contract. Both Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall are making more money than they would have under the previous arrangement. And Clark pulled the league's television profile out of the lower league rung it had been trapped in for years, which is a big part of why any of that is feasible. Under the previous agreement, the league had a $200 million media deal. This was reduced to $2 billion. And everyone's raises reside in that gap. Indeed, it is unparalleled. It's not watched either. Let's be honest, look, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not in the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Nothing, zero zip. The unsettling math is that the players who voiced the most complaints about Clark's excessive attention are now cashing checks that were created as a result of her excessive influence. Reese's request for increased compensation for WNBA players was granted, albeit not to the extent she had anticipated. As it happens, the CBA gave rewards to those who genuinely increased the audience rather than to those who merely discussed doing so on Instagram Live. Clark was not a spectator. She didn't make any threats, hold a press conference, or publish a post using inflammatory language. Her average was 19. 2 points, 8. 5 for assists and 4. Her debut season's 7 rebounds per game caused the league's TV numbers to soar in a way not seen in decades, allowing the salary sheet to sort itself from that point forward. The preseason then began. The cameras were ready to see Reese demonstrate that she had spent the offseason in a gym. Angel RE preseason basketball. We're back, baby. Reese took a plane to Atlanta. Do you want 3 balls? Come get some big ones. I've heard that she was traded for a dirty diaper and a used jock strap. New team, same layup package. How are the eyeballs?
Bang.
Free throws aren't free, as they say. How about it? They say that the second time is a charm, but it's not. What about the third time?
All right.
It will be the fourth. Give that wrist a flick. Wiggity, spin that ball. Wiggity bang. In exchange for 2 late first-round picks and a second-round trade, Chicago acquired Angel Reese. This is the kind of return you get for a player whose skill set doesn't align with the league's direction and whose locker room reputation spread more quickly than her highlight video. Atlanta offered her a fresh start, a new team, a new location, and the opportunity to enter the preseason looking like someone who had truly spent the offseason working out rather than attending a fitting. Chicago Sky versus Atlanta Dream on April 29th. And this was the one game that Reese had to win. Engaging in play, the setup was blatantly clear against the crew that sent her out with cameras locked on everything she owned. Go ahead and change the whole story in a single night by making Chicago appear foolish for dealing with you. From the field, she was 2 for 7. Against a Sky team that rested Azora Stevens, Jonai Carrington, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, that is 29% shooting in 13 minutes. In other words, Chicago looked better than Reese even though they didn't send their entire roster. Look at all the seats that are empty. Keep an eye out for yourself. A turnover was forced by Angel Reese's 3-way shot into the passing lane. Makes a call to her own number. That was really in. While Angel Reese was playing on the defensive glass, she fouled out. Reese's game lacks many hiding areas because she is not a 3-point shooter. Thus, her entire offensive existence is around finishing at the rim. This year, she has the chance to return home to Chicago and block the rebound with the rebound. The paint was essentially closed for business the whole night, and a guard who shoots poorly can still score assists or get to the line to shoot terribly. The stat line simply sits there empty, with nothing to show. Thus, there was nothing to rely on. Online critics quickly noted that there is nowhere to hide when a player's entire game hinges on completing inside and the ending stops working. And that was demonstrated in real time on April 29th. Another thing that caught my attention was how carefree Chicago appeared without her. They moved the ball with ease. It wasn't really present the previous season, and players competed with a difficult-to-fake level of comfort. The warmth in the locker room before Reese's flight to Atlanta was evident to anybody observing, and that looseness wasn't a coincidence. Angel Reese PRE Season Part 2. Let's get it. A lot of fans are in the stands to see you mound. How about it? It's evident that she's been working on that explosiveness in the lab during the offseason.
Take a look at this.
When the Washington Mystics arrived on May 3rd, Kikian made the situation even worse. Here, she gets nearly 2 off the ground. Reese's shots at the rim were consistently blocked and altered by Irfan, making the game appear to be a simple mismatch rather than a difficult one. Since most casual fans are still unfamiliar with Irfan's name, it is even more cruel to be constantly removed by someone who is precisely the type of performance that remains on a scouting report for years even when it isn't even well known. Reese was thought to be a top 5 talent coming out of college, but defenders around the league suddenly have footage proving that he can be neutralized at the rim by a player most people haven't Googled. There were 2 preseason games, 2 losses, and a shooting performance on both nights that indicated Reese had a lot of non-basketball-related activities during his offseason. The same point made by Bet David concerning players mistaking marketing activity for real preparation. After those 2 games, the video proved its point on its own. Therefore, no further proof was required. She has a nasty trick shot where she hits fiery slabs from a distance of 2 feet, and it's her bread and butter. She has a cooked form. The ball is so far away. It is located in a different solar system. Wendell Charter Jr., her boyfriend, is chatting with Angel. Maybe she makes it. Nope. 2 beans in a pod. Mr. and Mrs. Brick.
No.
Tell her that there isn't a clause in your contract that gives you extra money if you miss layups. A PRU pang is that. I went to the circus because I wanted to see a baby giraffe try to play Twister.
What is that?
Online viewers weren't silent about it. The comment sections quickly filled up and people spotted the discrepancy between what Reese's brand promises and what her game actually offers, and they weren't interested in being kind about it. Let's discuss what $300,000 actually means at this point. It may seem like a good amount of money, but when you compare it to the average pay of a new CBA, which is approximately $530,000, you will see that Reese is much below that threshold. Not only is she earning less than Clark, but she's also earning less than the new average, a figure the league created with the intention of rewarding players who increase their fan base. Everyone else is compensated. Since her name is Caitlin Clark, also known as the Reason, it's time for the Reason. The moment has come for the purpose to gather as well. Everyone else shouldn't just eat while she runs around and takes shots.
This isn't for that.
Aaliyah Boston, congratulations. Well deserved. Well deserved. I'm glad the Indiana Fever kept her confined for many years. For many years to come, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston will be a formidable team in this league. With all-star performances, a Reebok signature shoe, a sizable social media following, and enough media attention to fill a highlight channel for a full year, re-entered the league. She was priced by the CBA at around what a reliable rotation player makes, the type of player that works quietly and stays out of the spotlight. The disparity between Reese's brand and the pay she received from the league is not a coincidence or a mistake. The market claims that her off-court activities had no effect on TV ratings, ticket revenue, or product volume, the metrics that truly support player wages. The players who complained about Clark's excessive media attention during 2024 are now learning that the new wage structure was essentially based on the same reasoning that they opposed. The $2 was justified since the CBA awards market effect, and ESPN officials explicitly attributed the league's historic audience rise to Clark's market influence.
2.
Everyone's contract now has extra money thanks to a billion-dollar media rights deal. Because she is a dependable two-way player who, together with Clark, makes the Fever worthwhile to watch, Aaliyah Boston is paid more. Because Kelsey Mitchell competes and scores at a level that holds up on a national broadcast, she makes more money. Both Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull are making more money than they would have under the previous system. And Clark's ability to make the league's TV product desirable to bid on is directly responsible for the existence of any money at all. Don't leave any money on the table. Avoid. It leaves a smell on the ground. You take everything. You deserve and have earned that super max epic bargain. Then, until 2029, the Indiana Fever will feature Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, and that allows them to go back-to-back for 3 years. They will have 3 years to ensure that the entire team is assembled for these two. Reese's fashion show appearances and Reebok deal have not generated the secondary market activity that sponsors monitor. Therefore, contrary to popular belief, her off-court business isn't making the difference between her $300,000 and Clark's $500,000 plus. When a player's name is associated with a game, sponsors are concerned about the impact on ticket demand and jersey sales. The contract that Reese signed quite clearly states that her name hasn't changed those figures. Next season, Clark may earn more than $1 due to her Supermax eligibility. $3 million, which is around 4 times what Reese makes this year. For the next few years, that percentage will be brought up whenever someone discusses pay fairness in women's basketball. Reese was one of the most vocal advocates for increased WNBA pay, and she succeeded in getting it. It turned out that the CBA wasn't a document about seniority, social media reach, or shoe partnerships. Therefore, it wasn't for her at the level she had anticipated. It was priced according to who really seeded and maintained the audience. You experienced the response at that moment, the delayed, one not. Asia Wilson's post was rejected, and after that, Asia's shoe was released, and so on. That was a significant rollout. Even though she received the big contract and is the most popular, there was conjecture that Nike was concerned about treading on toes or upsetting anyone by releasing the CC shoe before everyone else, but it's coming. Including endorsements, Clark's debut season earnings exceeded $8. $1 million in total. This season alone, her base pay exceeds $500,000. The Fever are running it back with Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham while Reese learns how to finish at the rim in Atlanta. The pay sheet already indicates that the league believes the team is worth safeguarding. The salary sheet for the 2026 season looks like a verdict. Clark made the league entertaining, which won her a raise. Additionally, Ree made $300,000 by doing everything but repairing her layup throughout the offseason. Ree has an entire season to close that 4:1 difference. However, 2 preseason games of bricking, paint touches, and being physically assaulted by players who haven't been Googled yet aren't exactly compelling starting points. While Ree looks at her schedule for fashion shows, Clark, Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham are running it back in Indianapolis, playing in a league that at last pays its finest player what she is worth. What is your prediction for Ree's WNBA tenure? Tell me in the comments section below. To ensure you never miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications. On the screen, click the video and I'll see you in the next.